Are falling gold prices bad or good? We're going to answer that question with wisdom as old as gold itself. Stick around. Welcome to Silver Heist. Thank you to our returning subscribers and guests. We're a channel that likes to buy physical gold and silver, and we like a coin with a good story. If you like those things, please subscribe. Well, the gold price has been on a downward trend a bit lately since it met its all-time high in dollars in August of 2020. It has been decreasing, and is that bad or is that good? So we're going to look at that from a number of angles and then ultimately stick around to the end because we have a story that can put it all into perspective. So as you can see from this chart, gold reached its all-time high in dollars in August 2020 of over 2,000, and it went into a downward trend for 4 to 6 weeks, and then it went down some more, and then it stayed there for 3 to 4 to 5 weeks. And then the election happened, and then it went down even more. And so looking at this, you may ask yourself, well, when is it going to go back up? Or you may ask yourself, is it going to go down even further? So is this a good thing or a bad thing? Well, I think it all depends on your situation, and I think it also depends on the future. And since we can't predict the future, that's part of the challenge. We like to see patterns and we like to avoid bad outcomes, and so our brain is going to be looking for bad patterns and seeing bad news and acting on it, and you might ignore the good news that you see. With gold going down, it may provide a buying opportunity for you to buy more, so that could be good. But as some people experienced last week with the quote dip, is that when you buy on the dip, it may dip more the next day, and that may be bad. So when you look on it on a day-by-day basis, it gets a little bit too much, especially if your perspective is holding for a number of years. You don't want these day-to-day ups and downs to dominate your thoughts. If gold has gone down in price, but out of personal reasons, this is the time that you need to sell some of your gold, it could be bad, especially if you had bought at higher prices in July or August. But if you're selling gold now and you purchased it at a lot lower price in 3, 4, 5 years ago, then frankly, it could be good because you are selling at a higher price. So it all depends on your circumstances and when you bought it and whether you're able to withstand some of the daily and weekly price fluctuations and taking a longer view. So if the price of gold is going down and you are making regular purchases, well then it may be good because you're able to get more gold at a lower price today. And if you're able to actually, quote, move a lot more money into gold, because not just your normal purchases, but you're able to make some stretch purchases, then you may be able to take advantage of the lower price. That could be even better. But if you overstretch yourself and put yourself in a position and you stretch yourself so much that you can't withstand a slight personal setback and you actually need to sell your gold instead of just drawing down on your cash savings, well then that could be bad. So perhaps one way to be less concerned about whether the price going down is bad or good would be to commit yourself to regular purchases, no matter what the price, and over time you'll be accumulating gold, and especially if you're holding for a longer period of time, 3, 5, 10 years. So the dollar cost averaging over a long period of time where you're not forced to liquidate your holdings at any, hopefully, future date, except for on your timing, that would be the best strategy. But what is the best attitude? So the best strategy of weathering price fluctuations of good versus bad is one thing, but what's the best attitude in order to understand whether the present situation is good or bad? Sometimes we don't even know what's good and what's bad. This reality is driven home so powerfully in what's become known as the Chinese farmer parable. It goes something like this. A Chinese farmer and his son live in a small village. One day they wake up to find their only horse has disappeared. The farmer looks at his crestfallen son, who now has no horse to plow the field, shrugs his shoulders and says, "This may be bad, this may be good. Who knows?" The next day, the farmer and his son wake up to find their paddock filled with an entire herd of horses that have come home with the missing horse, who now stands proudly in the middle of the enclosure. The farmer looks at his jubilant son, jumping up and down because he now has 20 horses to plow the field, and he says with the same shrug, which is slightly annoying to the son, "This may be good, this may be bad. Who knows?" The next day the son decides to tame one of the new horses and falls off and breaks his leg. The father, helping his injured and wincing son into bed, says the same old line, which his son is beginning, little by little, to believe. "This may be bad, this may be good. Who knows?" The next day the son and the farmer watch out the window as the Chinese army comes by, conscripting all the able-bodied young men into the army. This time the son preempts the father and says with a twinkle in his eye, "This may be good, this may be bad. Who knows?" As the parable suggests, we don't always have the perspective at the time of an event to know whether it's good or it's bad. So is the price of gold going down bad or good? It may be bad, it may be good. Who knows?